Before Islam, my name was Oliver. I grew up in Deptford and went to primary school in Deptford called Ashmead Primary School.
Next time! You get me? You get me?
In class, I always was talkative, creative. I got bored a lot, and some would say, I would even say that I was, like cause a little bit of trouble. I like creativity, so I like things like art. I wasn't that good at art, but I like drama. I was good at drama and music and things like that. So that's kind of what I went into to act. Like my mum put me into theatre companies in Deptford. There's a theatre there, so like I was always active. My mum put me into gymnastics because I was an active child. She put me into activities that would take my energy away because I just had so much energy. I was born with a heart condition and I was a bit deaf when I was born as well. So like I had like problems so I was always in and out of hospital as well as a child, missing out primary school days. Like it wasn't that easy, but yeah, I managed to, like I made people laugh a lot. Like that's what helped me through, I guess. And growing up in Deptford, like it was easy just to go outside and just go on the street with your friends. And that's what I like. Even in primary school, I like to go out on the street. I wasn't allowed. My mum would always chase me down. Like she would always find out where I was and run me down. And I had a little, like I would always be on this going outside, like just trying to have fun, I guess. At the end of primary school, I actually got excluded for swearing at a teacher. Like that was a big thing in my primary school. And someone told the teachers I had a knife on me, because like a little pen knife. Someone told the teachers that. So when I left primary school, I went to Deptford Green, and at first I was a bit like skeptical. I didn't want to go there, but my mum put me there because it was close, and we moved from Deptford to New Cross, like the middle of New Cross. So it was easy just to get to Deptford Green. So when I went to Deptford Green, made a couple friends. Obviously, the area's called ghetto. I was out all the time, straight after school, out. Like, and at 13, I was already basically like selling drugs, trying to make money. Like, it wasn't easy. I don't think, like I was the middle child, so I felt like I lost out on a lot of things. Like my brother would get brand new things, and then I would get that handed down, but it wasn't the right size for my little brother, so he'd get brand new things. So I was always getting the middle thing. So I wanted my own stuff. So I just went out there and started. And my mum, like it started as like little, like not too bad. Then it, like at 14, 15, I was making a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie, everyone around knew that I was doing that. But it causes jealousy. And I was on my own doing it. It looked like I was on my own doing it. So, I was still going to school as well, but that kind of started taking over more and more. And then I got to my GCSEs, passed them. Not that, I got 11, mostly like drama, and that was good. Art was kind of good. Maths and it wasn't that good. But yeah, the road thing took over more. Like I enjoyed it. It gave me what I wanted, and I didn't realize that people. I was so young. I didn't realize people can get jealous of what you have, and just because I wasn't hanging around with them and sharing what I had, like they tried to stop me. And at 16, like 17 maybe, like a big thing happened where I got accused. Where I got attacked and then accused of attempted murder. So at 17, I'm not gonna lie, I ran out of town and I tried to get away from it. And eventually I came back and I was on bail for 2 years. So obviously all the money thing kind of stopped, and I went to a trial. I went to the trial, and it was for attempted murder and for GBH with intent. Yeah, so subhanallah, I remember when I was 11, obviously I had a heart condition, and it got to the point where I needed like a valve replacement. So it took about, like the best surgeons in the country, it took about 7-8 hours, 7-8 hours to do the operation. And after that, it was one of the biggest things that I went through. And the recovery was crazy, because when I wasn't allowed it back to school for months. And imagine at 11, like this is important, because a year later, my next door neighbor, she died right in front of me, subhanallah. And that just shows me, like, the year before I was saved somehow. Like, the operation actually saved me. Like, if I didn't have the operation, I wouldn't have been able to go on, like, living. And this girl, she fell right in front of me for no reason. She was talking to me, and for no reason she fell and died. So I was looking down at her, and I realized that this is part of a cycle. And at 12 years old, that hit me. I wasn't sad, I wasn't happy. It was just part of a cycle. That's what I took it as. So back to being on trial. The first trial was both charges, and the first trial was both charges, and alhamdulillah, they proved that I didn't attempt to murder anybody, and they couldn't prove that I didn't try to cause GBH, so they needed a second trial. On the second trial, the barrister that I had was a Muslim, and I didn't know that until he salamed someone, and I was like, what's that about? Like, do you know that guy that you just salamed? And he says, no, I don't know him, but because he's a Muslim, we say Salamu Alaikum, which means peace be upon you. That's the first kind of introduction that I had to Islam, except for going back to the girl that died next door. I went to her janazah because she was Muslim, her family was Muslim. And they asked me to come to the janazah, so I dressed in a khamis, and I went to the mosque, and I did wudu, and I prayed, and I made dua. And the brother of the sister told me, when you make a prayer, make it straight to God. Don't make it through Jesus. Don't do any of that. Just make it to God and see what happens. So I was young, but I made some serious prayers. Like, I remember it kind of clearly. And then, so on the second trial now, that was just a GBH with intent. So throughout the trial, the brother I was asking him questions. He was telling me about Islam, like about the prophets, about Jesus, about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, about the whole thing, and the similarities between Christianity and that. So it opened my eyes, and he saw that I was interested, so he actually gave me his own Qur'an. Then I spoke to my next door neighbor who I said, I'm thinking about Islam. Can you give me some information or something? And he brought a teacher, like they call him an ustad or something like that. And he for about a month came to my house every day. My mum, she didn't like it. She don't like my family did disagree with the whole thing. They didn't like me. Like, they didn't like this guy coming in my house with a big beard. Like, they didn't like it. Like, they didn't like it. So I suppose my mum got worried because I'm like an Asian man with a big beard and a long gown. It's not long after 9/11. Like, I should have understood that more, but me being me, I didn't really understand that. So I just kept him coming to my house, and he taught me a lot. And then at the end of him teaching me about like everything he spoke about, he said, everything I said is from the Qur'an, nothing is from my own words. And I said, because of that, I agree with everything that you said, and I want to take my shahada. So he said I must take ghusl, and then I went next door and took my shahada, and it was beautiful. When I took my shahada, as I was taking it, it felt like I knew the words already, and my body from the feet was like it was filling up with warm water, like my body was empty and it was filling up with like, I don't know, I can't explain the feeling properly, but it's filling up with something until it got to my eyes, and then I started crying. Like my body and my mind was so happy. And from that I tried, you know, I was trying to practice, but tried to keep it secret from my family because they already showed they already showed that they didn't agree with it. So every time I'd go to the mosque with a khamis on, I'd tuck it in before I go home and go in just normal, like. But I was still on the road. I won't lie, I was still on the road. And then it got to the, I think, what was it? The first Ramadan? Yeah, I think it was the second Ramadan that I was Muslim. Obviously I was fasting and went to the mosque every day. I was going to lessons as well at a brother's house. It was good, like, mashallah. And then, yeah, like I done itikaf in the masjid, and after that, my family, they said, if you want to carry on being Muslim, you can't stay here. So I stayed in the mosque for like months. The masjid let me stay there. I was basically looking after the mosque, like helping out and that. And then it got to the point where the mosque couldn't accommodate me, you know, it's too long. So an imam took me to his house, and I was staying with him for a long time. And then, subhanallah, I was practicing fully, like, and then I had to start staying with a brother. Stayed at his house. He lived near the masjid, so I lived with him. And you know, staying in the mosque, it was weird because I'm new to the deen, and I know that the mosque is only letting me stay there because, you know, I'm a brother, and they basically have to let me stay because I got nowhere to stay. So I felt I don't know, I felt alone, I guess. Like, it was crazy still. Like, it was mad. Like, I started, you know, when you just, because I was so keen about Islam, I started dissing all my old friends, like, because they were so road, like, just diss them. Like, when they have phone calls, they ring me up, straight away I'm giving them dawah, but it's the wrong kind of dawah. I'm arguing, like, you don't know the truth. Like, I'm trying to tell them when I don't really know, like, so when I'm arguing with them, I don't really have no weight in my argument. I'm a new Muslim, like, I barely know how to pray. So it was a crazy time in my life. That was a crazy introduction to practicing, because even I stopped grinding, innit? I stopped the road thing because I really learned about, like, the deen, and that was one thing that you have to come away from, because it's not just the money, you know, the haram money. It's the lifestyle. That money stays in that lifestyle. It's a circle, innit? It's a circle. Like, you make that money, then you've got things that you got to spend that money on because it's that lifestyle. You got to keep up to date with it. You got to get the trainers. You got to get the girls. You got to get, you know, you got to have me. I was prodded out at like 15. Like, no one was. A boy had a Prada, I bought it from him because just like matches my outfit. Like, I was so indulged in, like, I didn't know anything but that, innit? That's all I come from, just blotting and just, obviously after that, just beef and things like that, like. And like, when I was staying in the mosque, the people that run the mosque, they didn't even, I guess they didn't want to tell me to my face that they couldn't have me there no more. So the imam at the time that was, you know, leading Salah in Ramadan, and like the imam of the mosque, they asked him to tell me, and I think how I saw it is, he couldn't tell me just to leave, like, because he knows I don't have nowhere to go. So he invited me to his house, and I didn't realize until years later, like about 3 years into practicing, that At the time, every night his wife was making my bed, making me food, all of this. She was pregnant, and he didn't mention that. He just did it for the sake of Allah, you know. He just let me stay in his house. So like, I wanted to practice, but he you know what, yeah, he took me under his wing properly. Like, he took me everywhere he was going. He went to what do you call them, madrasas. Like, he was a busy imam. Like, he did ruqya. I learned a lot from being around him. Like, it was a good experience. At the same time, it was a very, very difficult situation to understand. Like, how did I put myself here? Like is it worth it? I guess all them questions come. And then, like, alhamdulillah, brothers, the mosque that I stayed in, that was my local mosque, on like one of them on Oak Road. So the brothers did it. We all know each other. It was a good, strong circle of brothers, you know, young brothers that some of them have similarities, and some of them are just, you know, reverts from this kind of like we just all like come together because we're trying to practice, you know. So one brother, he lived near the mosque, as I said, and he just let me stay, and it was more comfortable because he's like my age. Yeah, so I was staying at the brother's house. Alhamdulillah, I stayed there for a long time, like as long as I can remember. But you know, I got to know the deen a bit more. So it wasn't just me trying to grow my beard, trying to wear the thobe. I was actually learning at this point. Well, I was around a lot of brothers, every kind of brother. Like, there's so many, you don't even realize you're around a brother that's in a group. You don't even realize you're around a brother that, you know, that's got automotives or whatever. You don't see that, because as a new Muslim, you're sincere, you know. You're fresh, so you're trying to, you know, you're open to anything basically. Whereas, you know, I should have done the things like learning Arabic first. Whereas I jumped straight in at the deep end. Like, there was brothers I was around, I shouldn't have been around them. Like, groups that you just shouldn't be part of. You know, like, a lot of people will tell you they know this and they know that, but really and truthfully they don't even know Arabic, or maybe they do know Arabic, but you know, manipulation is just because someone's Muslim with a beard and a thobe, it doesn't mean that they can't trick you or they can't manipulate you into something that they want you to do. So, you know, you have to stay steady. You have to, there's a thing, you take the middle path. Like, that's there for a reason, because taking the middle path keeps you safe. Like, just be Muslim, innit? Like, it's easy. It's an easy way of life. You're making things difficult. We come from the road, so we're aggressive. So, yeah, so coming to the deen is not, I'm not gonna say it's easy. It's not easy, innit? Because you're leaving a lot behind, so you're still remembering that. So you think everything in front of you is truth, or you think everything in front of you is good. And even in Islam, there's bid'ah. So there's brothers that will prey on you, like, especially if you don't know, especially if you don't go straight into learning Arabic or something, like, so you can read what you're being told, because people will teach you things, and the English language is very limited, whereas Arabic, you can say one word and it means so much. So I could tell you Islam means peace. Yeah, it does, innit? But it means so many things. It means the one who submits to Allah, innit? Like, do you understand? So I can translate something the way I want to translate it to you if I want to, innit? If someone's trying to manipulate you, you won't even know, because they're good at it, innit? They've trained themselves to get you manipulated. Like, you're not the first. Most brothers that come from the road, that's what they go through a lot of the time. They go through, pull it, this arm that way, like, and then you get confused. That's, in fact, like, I practiced a lot, and I was in the deep end. I was swimming deep. I was, as I said, I wasn't learning all the things I should have been, like Arabic and things like that. Whereas, and then it took me back away from Islam, basically. Like, like years later, I basically stopped practicing, and Allahu Alam why, innit? But could have been the reason, innit? Like, that I was in a deep end when I should have took it slowly. Alhamdulillah, Allah guided me away from all that. I'm not trying to say I'm perfect. I'm not an angel. Everyone does wrong things. But one thing I learned through my whole experiences is that you can't swim if you don't learn how to swim, because you're going to drown. So you can't mistake things like passion for truth, for haqq, because if you're thinking about coming to Islam or you're new to Islam, you might see someone shouting, and it might look like it's from their heart. So yeah, I'm down with that person. Look at him, look, he's down, he's rolling. I'm rolling with him. That's not always true though. There might be something else. You need to learn. You need to learn, and it's easy to learn. Just take it easy. So before, I was all over the place. I was going here, going there, shouting. I was even going to protest, shouting about things I actually don't really know about. Where, alhamdulillah, now I'm back at square one. I'm learning my deen, innit? And anything that I was associated with before, I'm free from that. Alhamdulillah, I'm back to square one. I'm learning my deen. And anyone that's thinking about becoming Muslim or is new to the deen, they need to do the same and learn your deen. Barakallah feek.